2 years ago, the Calgary Stampeders were on top of the football world. Despite finishing the season with a record below 500, a first under Wally Buono, the Stamps were still able to hoist the Grey Cup in the end. But since that win, it's been a hard, fast fall for one of the league's model franchises. The next season, Calgary finished 6-12 and out of the playoffs. Another Buono first. And by season's end, the new owner, Michael Feterik, had issues with the man in charge. It wasn't long before Buono, one of the winningest coaches in CFL history, resigned from the club.
I don't think the decision of change was ever questioned. The way the change was handled was what was questioned.
Under Buono, the Stampeders were undeniably the team of the 90s. The man hired to carry on that winning tradition was Montreal assistant Jim Barker, and it didn't take long for Barker to show his bite. He traded veteran receiver Travis Moore, released running back Kelvin Anderson, and brought in a back with a very checkered past. Meanwhile, new VP of player personnel Fred Feterik, who came in with no prior football experience, continually made statements that did not endear him to the paying public.
Fred didn't understand the culture of Canada, of the Canadian Football League, and of this city. And you need to understand, when in Rome, do as the Romans. You can't come in and expect to change things in a day. I'm sure his intentions were good and that he wanted, the best for this organization, but, just maybe approached it the wrong way.
The public was also unhappy that the owner's son was now the team's #2 quarterback. After an injury to Marcus Crandall, Kevin Feterik made his first start, and the Stamps would beat Ottawa that night. But Calgary went on to lose their next 6 games under 3 different pivots. And whether it was fair or not, Kevin Feterik became a lightning rod and bore the brunt of much of the criticism.
Kevin Feterik is a good kid. And Kevin Feterik may have been a relatively good college quarterback. It's very clear he's not CFL material. Everyone in that locker room knows it, and that kills team morale. I feel so sorry for this kid because it was an impossible situation.
Going into the Labor Day Classic at 2-8, Calgary is now a shell of the franchise that dominated the league in the 90s. And despite a big win against Edmonton, the team makes a major move, naming longtime kicker Mark McLaughlin as team president, and the very next day, Fred Feterik resigns.
Just because it's the Calgary Stampeders doesn't mean that we will always have 30,000 plus fans in the stands. We have to prove ourselves on and off the field. We have to prove ourselves based upon what the values are of our organization, and we have to maintain that credibility so people will want to be a part of us and want to support us. And the organization's direction under Fred's leadership got away from that.
People are just so happy that the nightmare year that was Fred Feterik is over. They're so happy he's gone.
Calgary will finish out of the playoffs for the 2nd straight season, and McLaughlin's job now is to restore the fractured faith with the fans, something that took 10 years to build. But with the dark clouds of this season now fading, the focus in Calgary can now get back to winning games, which they did often not all that long ago.
We're going to move in the right direction. This is the pinnacle of the CFL, and we're going to get it back to where it belongs and restore it to its championship tradition.